Well, are you going to work tomorrow?
I called my boss and told him that, I'll come in early just to see what's going on, and like if my head's not there, like he said he'd give me some like office stuff to do, and then I can just roll out.
Okay.
I was just gonna let you. I didn't know what you wanted me to do.
Yeah. So
right now it's hard to be in this house right now.
Right.
It was odd that he deleted his Facebook account, but when he was on Facebook, and this was maybe a week or so ago. I don't know exactly when. But it was odd that he deleted his Facebook account. They were always, he was always talking about her and the kids, and and he was proud of her growth in the company, that all the accomplishments, and they just seemed like a great team.
He would write this on Facebook?
Yeah, correct.
Hello, I'm Paddy. Welcome back to the channel, everybody. If you're a returning viewer, thank you very much. If you're brand new, stick around. Today, another Chris Watts video. Of course it is. In the last video, we had Chris's defense team in the house triggering a burglar alarm. We had the house crawling with lawyers and the police. I had never seen that footage before, so I thought I'd put that into a video for you. I'll put that into one of the links here for you to watch that. So in one of my other videos, if you remember one of my other videos when they were handing out the flyers looking for SHANANN, well, meanwhile, while that was happening back at the station, one of the police officers was going through the witness list and trying to track them down. So I found some footage of that to show to you. There's two of the phone calls that were on the list that I left out because the ladies that were speaking to the police officer at the time said they didn't really want their information out there, even though it's available by public record. So I've left their calls off, but there wasn't anything in there anyway, really, so I've left those bits off. The other people that are on there, censored addresses and stuff like that. So when it comes to making videos, I want to do this channel the way I would like it myself if I was looking at a channel. Build a nice community of people, which I seem to be doing at the minute. We had some great comments and we've had some great people. And one thing I try to do is not look too much at other creators, because I find even subconsciously it can influence the content that you're putting out. So try not to watch too much of other people's stuff. Then that way I can make videos that I want to see. And then hopefully that means that you'll want to see them. A lot of people are interested in these videos and they like to do a deep dive on these cases. They like to go really deep. Sometimes people find it interesting and others don't. I find the majority people, if you're like me, will look at a case and look at all the little nooks and crannies about what was going on. And you've got to remember as well, some people are a lot younger and might just be getting into the case as well. So if I see some footage and I think I haven't seen it, I'll put it in a video and I'll put it out for you. And then there's going to be times where there's footage that you've probably seen already, but I want to do it my way. Okay, I'll shut up. I'm going to put the email address on the screen for people to email me if they want to email me suggestions. I'll just say hello. Big shout out to new member, Kate is great, so welcome Kate. Kez, our other member, 5150. Hello to Paige. Big shout out, Timmy59. Lots of members content up this week. Lots of normal posts up this week as well, so go along to the community posts and have a look at those. Normally post documents from different cases up there. Have a look at those. Okay, today's video, they go through the witness list. But first of all, the first call is to Chris and then to the witness list. When they phone Chris, just out and out lies to the police. Let's get into the video.
It's Chris.
Hey Chris, it's Officer James Frederick, PD.
How's it going?
Good, I was just calling to see if you had heard anything.
I haven't heard anything at all, sir.
Okay. Had you talked to the friends after we left some more?
Yeah, I've called the hospitals, and I had a couple friends stop by as well, and nobody's heard anything. They've even reached out to some people that I didn't know. So. Okay.
Do you have any contact info for some friends that you talked to on the phone? That way, do you have any suspicions at all where she'd be?
I honestly don't have any, inkling of where she would be unless somebody is just not telling me if we called them.
Okay. Do you have some people that I can call and let them know that we're looking for them, and if they don't necessarily want to tell you some stuff, that we just we would like to know where she's at. You know what I'm trying to say? That
Yeah.
maybe they're afraid to tell you some stuff, but they'd tell it to us.
Yeah. So, let me look here. So, do you have Addie Maloney's number? Yeah, Sam Paisley's number?
Just go ahead and give them all to me.
Okay, so Sam Paisley. Look through some text messages. Christina Meacham.
Okay. Any others?
Okay. I'm looking right through my text messages. Jeremy Lindstrom.
Okay. What?
That's about all the new ones that I know you probably didn't have.
What?
I've heard from tonight.
When I was over there, we didn't ask what kind of marital problems are you guys having? Why are you guys wanting to separate?
Mainly because, like, when we were apart for, she was in North Carolina for 5 weeks.
Is that North Carolina?
It just felt like, yeah, she went to North Carolina for 5 weeks, and
Okay.
I went down there for the last week, so 6 weeks altogether. And it was mainly just a disconnect. Like, we just fell out of love with each other. It was like once we got back, like once we were together again on that last week, it just never felt the same. And we talked about it while we were there, and it just felt that disconnect, and I just didn't feel like we were in love anymore.
Okay. Had you had any marital problems before that?
Not really. I mean, the main thing is, like, I could never really be myself, and like I felt like, you know, I could never just be who I was, like, before I met her, like, and she could never see me. And I feel like I'm talking to like a psychiatrist about this right now, but like we just had that disconnect. Like, once I saw her again, it was just like, no, it wasn't there anymore.
Okay. And it's going to be a hard question to answer, but is she seeing anyone else that you're aware of?
I mean, I'm not going to say no, because, I mean, it's totally possible.
Okay. Are you seeing anyone else that she isn't aware of?
No, I have not done that.
Okay. Well, are you going to work tomorrow?
I called my boss and told him that, you know, I'll come in early just to see what's going on, and like if my head's not there, like he said, he'd give me some like office stuff to do, and then I can just roll out.
Okay.
I'm just gonna let you. I didn't know what you wanted me to do.
Yeah. So
right now it's hard to be in this house right now.
Right. If you hear anything, I want you to call us right away.
Oh, definitely. You guys, like, yeah, speed dial.
Yep. So I want you to call us right away, and that's that number that I underlined on your card there to the dispatch, because we may not always be in the office, but call that dispatch number right away, and then you can reach an officer 24/7 there.
Okay.
And then we'll most likely be in contact with you first thing in the morning if we don't hear anything from you tonight.
Okay.
To try and start backtracking some stuff, okay?
Okay, sir.
All right, thank you.
Thank you so much.
Bye.
Bye.
Hello?
Hi, is this Sam?
It is?
Hi, Sam. It's Officer James Frederick PD. How are you?
I'm well. How are you?
Good. We're looking for Shannon, as I'm sure you've heard.
Yeah, I've been glued to my phone and talking to everybody as much as I can.
Okay. I was just wondering if you had any information you could pass on to us that you think may be helpful or something like that. Do you live in Colorado?
Yeah. I don't. I live in Maryland.
Okay.
But we work together, and we're friends. We talk. Everything is. Nothing makes sense to me.
Okay. When was the last time you talked to her?
Actually, I haven't talked to her since July 18th, and that was via text. But before that, we talked a lot. She was really close with my best friend, though, Addie.
I just tried calling Addie, and her phone went straight to voicemail. Where does Addie live?
Addie lives here near me in Maryland, down the road from me. She's on a plane right now. She lands in about 2 hours and 45 minutes.
Where's she going?
She's coming home.
Oh, to Maryland?
She was with SHANANN in Arizona.
How do you say her name?
Cindy.
Say it again.
SHANANN.
SHANANN, okay. Sorry.
Yeah. That's okay. Everybody says it wrong.
She was with her in Arizona?
Yep. So was Cindy Derosett. Do you have her phone number too?
I don't.
I'm going to give that to you before we get off.
Okay.
We had a training out there, and so SHANANN is part of my team, and Addie is part of my team, and so Addie is her leader, and I'm theirs, kind of, I guess.
Okay.
So they went out there and did a training, and we're out there this weekend, and I know that Nikki dropped her off this morning.
Is that how you guys know each other?
Through Lavelle, yeah.
Okay.
Yep. We became really close, too. I mean, I've been to Colorado to their home, and, you know, I know Chris. We've been on lots of trips and getaways to Mexico and New Orleans, all kinds of places that our company, we've earned through the company.
Okay.
So I guess knowing her, so much of this does not make sense to me. She's a very meticulous person. She's very routine. Nothing's ever off.
Okay.
So like when just talking to the girls, you know, Addie and them telling me that, you know, like Chris pulled the truck up to the garage at 5-something in the morning. For me, that's very weird because her daughter's bedroom's above the garage. She would never have wanted her to be woken up, the dog to bark, stuff like that.
Right.
She's somebody who would have a phone, her purse, her everything. Like, she would never leave her kid's medicine. Like, she had a doctor's appointment this morning. Like, this is not her. This is not, I mean, I don't know.
Has she expressed anything to you when you last talked to her, or recently in the last few months? Not
to me, but definitely to Addie. And I'm not sure about Cindy, but I think Cindy as well.
Okay.
I'm in a group text with Cindy and Addie right now. They're both my best friends, and we're really having a hard time figuring this out.
Right. Well, if you would let Addie know.
I do know one thing.
Okay, go ahead.
I'm telling you what Addie has been telling me, because I know you can't reach her right now, but you'll hear this from her. That I know she and Chris expressed he didn't want the baby, and in the last 4 weeks, weird things were happening. Like, I know Chris to be a great father, a great husband, very involved. You know, he does the laundry, he cooks, he takes care of the kids, he helps her, and he's so helpful, like more than any man I've ever known. And in the last 4 weeks, Addie told me, everyone's kind of, not everyone, but those that know are saying that things have happened and weird things with him that aren't like him.
Like, did she have examples?
Yeah, for instance, I have the video of, you know, her telling him that they were pregnant and how happy he was, and he cried, you know, and then for him to say now that he wants a separation and he didn't want the baby, from what Addie told me, you know, those are strange things to us. And then I think it was Saturday night, he went to a baseball game with his buddies, and then he said he told SHANANN he went and got dinner and a beer, and he told her he had a salmon and a beer, like salmon dinner and beer. And she found it weird that, like the bill when she looked at the bank statement or whatever, came to like $60-something, which seemed like a lot.
Right.
So when I told Addie, I talked to Nikki and I talked to Addie today about that, because like the first thing, obviously I have my own gut feelings and stuff, and I'm thinking, well, maybe he's cheating. And I said, what was the name of the restaurant? What time did you leave? And apparently it was, and I said, well, maybe we can see if he was alone at the restaurant, because if there was someone with him, that might play a big role in this. And so Nikki told me the restaurant. It's in Westminster.
Okay.
Hold on, let me look at my phone, okay? I'll tell you the name of it. Hold on a second. Sorry, bear with me. I'm trying to pull it up, and I didn't have my Wi-Fi. Oh, I think she told me that it was the Rusty Bucket. The Rusty Bucket.
Okay.
And Nikki said something about, I can't recall the time exactly, but apparently, like, she said something like it looked as if he, like, paid at 8-something at night, but then I guess the babysitter's saying, like, he didn't get home till 2 hours later, maybe. So that right there has just really been on my mind, and I don't know about that. But I keep on thinking.
Was it the Rockies game that he went to? The Colorado Rockies?
Yeah, I think so. Yeah, baseball. On Saturday night.
Okay.
And then, but yeah, the bill seemed kind of high to have a beer and a salmon dinner. But, you know, it's more like a bill for two.
Right.
So I thought, and I don't know that. I don't like, and I don't want to have hearsay, but these are things that, you know, Addie was telling me, or Nikki, who dropped her off and was the one that went to the house today. I've talked to both of them, and I know that Shanann was on medication, and she wouldn't have left her medication.
Do you know what she was on medication for?
Yeah, nausea, because she was pregnant.
Right. And do you know how far she is?
Trying to think. Let's see, maybe 4 months.
Okay.
4, 5 months. 4, maybe going on 5, I would say.
Well, you said Addie lands in 2.5 hours or so?
Yeah, I was just talking to her. She said, I don't get into PWI till 3. You can text her if you're able to, but she definitely can text because she has Wi-Fi, and we were talking as soon as you called me.
No, I'm trying to... It's almost 10 o'clock here.
It's 11:42 here.
So yeah, I'll give you a phone number.
Okay, hold on 1 second. And then I also want to give you Cindy's phone number too.
Okay. Yeah, I'll give you a phone number and have Addie. You said Addie and her are really good friends?
Yes, very close. And Addie knows. Oh, Addie's really one that knows a lot, if not everything, going on with the marriage, and Shanann really confides in her a lot.
Yeah, so I'll give you a phone number. Text Addie to call me when she lands.
Okay, I'll do it. I'm doing it right now with you on the phone.
And the number I'm giving you is to our dispatch center. And just have her ask for Officer James, James, with Frederick Police Department. And they'll get the message to me.
Okay.
And that number is 720 652 4222.
Okay.
And so when she calls that number, just tell her to ask for Officer James of Frederick Police, and they'll get me the message, and I'll return her call.
Okay, and then I just put that in my text with Cindy and Addie. Did you want Cindy to call you as well?
Is Cindy on the plane with her?
No, she's in Arizona.
No, I'll call Cindy if you can give me her phone number. Okie dokie. And
her last name is Derosett.
Spell it for me.
Derossett.
Derossett?
Yes.
Okay. Yeah, so have Addie call me when she lands. I'm going to call Cindy. That number's good for you, too, if you can think of anything after we get off the phone and you want to say anything else. You can call that number, too, and they can get me a message.
Except for, like, this was such a complete shock to me, but when I'm hearing everything and it's not making sense. Did you talk to Chris? How about Christina? Did you talk to her?
Nope,
she has an accent. Like she lives in Hawaii.
She does live in Hawaii?
She does.
Okay, so she's probably awake still then.
Yeah, and she actually lived with them for 2 months.
Okay, yeah.
She knows them. Okay.
She's on my list to call.
Good. Okay, good.
And then is a Sam Paisley? That's who I'm talking to now. That's you.
Yeah, that's me.
Yep. So I gotta check you off my list. Okay. So yeah, Sam, if you have anything else that you can think of, just call that number and they'll get the message to me. Okay?
I will. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Everything.
Yep. Bye.
Good luck. Bye. Hello.
Hi, Cindy.
Yes, sir.
Hi, this is Officer James Frederick, PD.
How are you?
I'm doing well.
I'm not.
I understand that.
Yeah.
I was calling.
How can I help you?
I was calling to see if you had any insight that you could give me about anything.
Well, I know.
I have not. She's on an airplane right now. I talked to Sam.
Okay, so okay, you talked to Sam. So we've been in, constant communication all day. Addie has been going back and forth. She's going to have probably the most information, except she's been relaying it all to us. So Addie will be talking when she needs to land.
Right.
Addie and I were with SHANANN and Nikki last night for dinner here in Arizona.
Okay.
And
and you know SHANANN through
our company, Lavelle.
Okay.
Our company, Lavelle. So she's become like a, close friend, like a sister to us.
Can you spell your company name for me?
Sure. Capital L-E, and then dash, and then V like Victor, E-L.
Okay.
It's direct sales, so we're all independent contractors.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
So you were with SHANANN and Nikki last night.
Correct.
In Arizona.
Correct. So we had dinner, and then Addie and I took SHANANN and Nikki to the airport.
Okay. And do you live in the Phoenix area, or where do you live at?
I do.
Okay.
I live in Queen Creek, Arizona, and that is a suburb of Phoenix. So I dropped them at Sky Harbor Airport, which is our Phoenix airport.
Okay.
And that was around 7-ish. I mean, I think their flight was around 8:45.
Okay.
And then I was relayed the information today at about noon my time that SHANANN was missing. And who'd you
find that out through?
From Addie.
And do you know how Addie found out?
From Nikki. And so this was like a relay going through the phones.
Okay.
Okay.
And so how long were you with SHANANN this week? Like how many days?
So SHANANN, I believe, got here I think Thursday.
Okay.
We had an event for Lavelle.
Okay.
And so she got here on Thursday, and I believe, I'm pretty sure it was Thursday. I for sure saw her on Friday.
Okay.
So I saw her Friday, Saturday, and Sunday.
So all 3 days.
Mm-hmm.
And did she fly in with Nikki?
I believe she did. I know she flew out with her, but I don't know. I wasn't around when they flew in, so
okay.
I don't know that for sure.
And is there anything that she talked about while you were with her that was concerning or kind of raises some red flags to you?
Yes. Well, she mentioned that that her husband has been distant. She's very sad. She was about to break down. He's been saying things that they're not compatible anymore. That she's so concerned, there's just trouble. And so, blindsided by this was not normal. He wouldn't really explain much, so she mentioned things about counseling. They were going to try to go away for the weekend. So she just was talking about being distraught, like just blindsided. This was unexpected whatsoever, It was odd that he deleted his Facebook account, but when he was on Facebook, and this was maybe a week or so ago, I don't know exactly when, but it was odd that he deleted his Facebook account. They were always, he was always talking about her and the kids, and and he was proud of her growth in the company, that all the accomplishments, and they just seemed like a great team.
He would write this on Facebook?
Yeah, correct.
Okay.
But hadn't seen much lately, and so she went out of town to go visit family on the East Coast, and I think it was like a 6-week trip. And at the latter part of that, and that was recent, like within a week prior to her coming here to Arizona, and I think the latter part of that week he joined them, and that's when I think she discovered that things were. And the other thing that I knew was, or that she relayed, was that they just found out that they were going to be having a boy. She's 15 weeks along, and that they were going to be having a boy, and that they canceled the reveal, like the gender reveal party, because just the energy was not right, and that's something that she mentioned. But no indicators that he wanted a separation.
The energy between them, those two wasn't right?
Yeah, like she just didn't understand why he was this way, like why he was feeling like that they were not compatible anymore. Where'd that come from, kind of stuff. So
were you friends with him on Facebook?
I don't remember now, actually. I think I was, yeah, but now I can't look, for sure. I'm pretty sure I was, but either when, things were tagged, or if he was in it, she was always involved, so.
So you'd see his posts because
correct, yeah.
He would tag her.
Either that, or I was friends with him, but I don't remember. Gosh, we have such a big company.
Okay,
so,
but you saw the post on your Facebook, and it's not through someone else telling you about him.
Oh, correct. No. I would see it.
Okay. Has she mentioned anything else about their relationship, or seeing anyone else, or anything like that?
That was always obviously a question, and she was concerned about money that he had spent that night. He went to apparently a ball game.
It was a question about him seeing somebody else?
Yes.
Okay.
Like that went through my mind. Like all of a sudden, and he's like gotten more fit lately. And I mean, I'm sorry to be saying all of this, but
no, we're kind of starting it. We're starting at scratch. So the more information we can collect, the better. So I'd like to be as candid as possible.
Yes. Sure. So he started to get more fit, and really lost a lot of weight and got more muscular, and that was recent. I just saw a picture of, and if you're looking at her Facebook, there's like a video of them, the girls running to him, and they got caught. The girls went past on TSA and shouldn't have, So there's like a video of the girls running up to him at the airport, and then there's pictures of them in the ocean. That's new. He didn't look that fit before, so that was new.
Okay.
And so. But so what she did bring up, and I didn't say anything, like, are you wondering if there's somebody on the side? This is so out of character, weird, and, but I didn't say it. She brought up that of course, my brain is going to go there, and that he went to a ball game with his friends, but then I looked on, their banking, and it was, he spent more money than than he should have for his own meal. A burger and a beer should have been at the most, $25-$30 or something, and it was like $60-some.
Did she say what ball game he went to?
A Rockies game.
Okay. And what night was that?
That would have been yesterday, I believe. I'm pretty sure it was. TV.
Okay. But she had discovered...
Yeah, it just was curious to her that, again, because they usually, any dollar that they spend, they always tell each other, kind of thing, it was curious to her. I mean, her just suspicions are everywhere, trying to figure this out, why he's not wanting to, not wanting to, it feels like he doesn't want to work on things,
Right.
And I don't know if Addie's going to mention this, but she did relay to Addie that he said that he did not want a baby that's coming.
Okay.
I mean, these are things that nobody knows. You know what I mean? This is like lockdown stuff, but I mean, anything that can help bring her home. None of this makes any sense. Those babies need their medicine. She's the most OCD, like really routine person that I've ever met. But just a joy. Just loving. But she's like a helicopter mom. She would have never left that house without the girls having everything that they needed. The fact that her purse, I mean, we're trying to be reasonable too. Like, okay, maybe she could have called the pediatrician, and called it in. We're trying to be reasonable and not hysterical.
Right.
But none of this makes any sense at all. And where did she go? Because the video shows her nothing. I mean, going out the back wouldn't make any sense. That doesn't make any sense for her to do. It could have happened, sure. I mean, obviously there's things that could happen, and I'm hoping that's the case. But she doesn't have an ID. Could she have taken a passport? Maybe, and cash. And but the debit cards. I mean, nothing. None of this makes any sense. And
have you been in contact with Chris?
I have not. Sam has.
Oh, Sam has. Okay.
Yeah, and was kind of playing it dumb. Like, are you guys okay? And it's just, to us, all of this, she's showing us all of these screenshots of, her interaction with him, and we're going,
Sam showing you these?
Yeah, she's like relaying that to Addie and me, and we're like, why are you, he said, well, I have some people here, and they're sitting here with me, and I'm like, why aren't you idiots out on the streets with flashlights? I mean, he's so calm. I don't understand it. He's a calm person anyway. He's a very passive man.
How many times have you met him?
I've never met him in person.
Okay.
This is all,
third-hand info?
I've never met him in person. Yeah, it's just kind of like what I know through. I've been in SHANANN's presence many times, and so, and just talking on the phone, she'll talk about Chris, and then the interaction of, them on Facebook and stuff. He's just more of a passive guy, not kind of quiet, not real animated, but he's always talked about how much he loves her, and I'm so proud of her, and none of this seems right. But what's very curious to me is why he's so calm right now.
Right.
I just don't understand any of that. I don't. I'd be throwing up. I'd be sick. And so she's very ill. She's got lupus. So that's why, obviously you probably know that. And Nikki went to go do a well check on her because she couldn't get a hold of her. So she was worried that she was passed out on the floor.
Did she say how if she was feeling okay this weekend?
Well, it didn't seem like that she was sick, like from her lupus. She just was so distraught. I mean, this is just a blindside. She doesn't want to lose her marriage. She doesn't want to lose her husband, She's just distraught. Didn't seem like her perky self, like normal.
Right.
But she's somebody that just takes care of business. She just takes care of business, and like if stuff needs to get done, she'll get it done. And so she hopped in a few times to help with, over the weekend for the event and, that kind of thing. But I didn't, she didn't reveal all of this until we actually sat down to dinner. All the event thing was over, and this is when she told me. And
was this last night she was telling you, or Saturday?
Yeah, at dinner.
Okay.
Last night before the airport, before dropping her off.
And who was at dinner with you guys? It was you, Addie?
It was me, Addie, Nikki, and SHANANN.
Okay.
And she was anxious to get home. She was concerned because we were having issues here with weather, and we kept getting weather alerts. We were in the restaurant, and the electricity went off, and so she was a little like on like alert. I mean, she was just, you could tell she was a little anxious.
Right.
To get home. She just wanted to get home, and worried she was going to get stuck here.
Is there anything else you could think of? Had she said anything that he had harmed her physically, or
No,
there had ever been any
that.
violence or anything ever?
No, I mean, and just based on observation, that doesn't seem like something that he would be like. It just wouldn't seem like he would be that way.
Okay.
But I just...
She wasn't fearful of him?
No, she just was so sad. She just didn't understand why it was going in this direction, completely blindsided. So she didn't mention anything that he had gotten, like, raised voices or anything like that. Right. She never mentioned that. He just kind of, I think the one thing he said to her that she relayed was, she knows, she's like, I know that I'm a control freak. I have to be with the girls because the girls need their medication and, all that, she just is that person. And the only thing that she relayed that he said was, like, it'd be nice if I was able to hang something on the wall without you hovering over and critiquing me, over my shoulder. So he was getting annoyed by things, I guess. I don't know. Okay. And she just didn't, everything worked up until then. Like, they had a routine, and everything worked up until then, I guess.
Did she say how long this had been going on with their marriage? Was it something recent or something for... Yeah,
this has been super recent. Like I said, the trip to the Carolinas was, she just got home within days or a week prior to coming here to Arizona.
And it all happened then?
And, right, I think it all happened like when he came there and, something like that. Like either he waited till they got home or it was there, at the latter part of the trip to the Carolinas. Okay. But it was very recent that it all came up.
Is there anything else you could think of? Because when I talked to Sam, she said she was sending you and Addie a message with our phone number on it, and that Addie was going to call me when she landed.
Yeah. And then Sam said that, they're going to be calling you. They said, I gave them your phone number and that they were going to be calling you. And
okay.
It just, her leaving without any of her stuff is it's not even like...
How long have you known SHANANN?
A couple of years now.
And how often would you see her?
I'd see her at events, but we talk on the phone quite a bit. So, with work, and then every once in a while it was personal, and, that kind of thing.
Okay.
Last time before this I saw her physically was end of April, early May in New Orleans. We had an event.
Okay.
I wish that there was something. I mean, just none of this, like, we've all been going back and forth. We know a lot of details that we're not letting other people know, but none of this is right, and none of this feels right. I'm telling you this, if it wasn't Chris, then who was it? No, this doesn't make any sense. She doesn't have any way to go. If she just started to wander off, like maybe she was so distraught, I mean, we're trying to make sense of everything. Why was the bed stripped? Okay, where are the sheets at?
Is that stuff Chris is telling you guys?
No, this is just other stuff that we're being relayed that only a few of us are talking about.
How are you guys getting that information, I guess is my question. Is Chris relaying that to you, or Nikki?
No, he is not. Nikki was trying to help make sense of this.
Okay, I'm just curious how you guys are finding out information.
I don't want her to get in trouble.
No, she's not going to get in trouble. We're trying to put a big puzzle together, so as best as we can figure out who knows what. That's something that, you know what I mean? That's something we need to know is who knows what. Course. So, and you're not at fault for knowing anything, and so
I don't want Nikki to be at fault for sharing. She's out of her mind.
No, she's not going to be in trouble. Trust me.
And we're we feel like we're like trying to mold and trying to be reasonable also, like not trying to jump to conclusions either, you know, but it's just based on who we know about SHANANN, none of this makes any sense whatsoever.
Right.
You know, and it just, she would never, you know, Chris told Addie that she was going to a friend's, taking the girls and going to a friend's. Okay, well, who picked her up? You know, where'd she go?
Right.
I mean,
yeah, and we're trying to piece it all together. Right now, we're investigating it as a missing persons report. And I wish I could.
Of course, I know you can't jump to
share more details with you, but unfortunately, I can't.
I understand.
But it's our job to try and talk to as many people as we can. You know, we talk to one or two people. We don't necessarily get the whole story of who she is and stuff. So it's I appreciate you talking to me, and you have my number. That number that Sam had sent out is to our dispatch center, and if you call that number and ask for a Frederick officer, you can get in contact with 124/7.
Was anything I said helpful, I hope?
Yeah, so we don't know Chris and SHANANN from Peter down the street, so we got to try and develop their characteristics, their mannerisms, stuff like that, to try to help put the puzzle together. So it's good to know that all the stuff you told me and kind of how she was feeling the last few days and stuff like that. If you think of anything else that you didn't tell me, give me a call. Too much information will never hurt. So.
Sure, of course, and when, you know, of course we understand the whole, you know, it's 24 hours and stuff, and all of us, you know, like when I say all of us, Addie, you know, Sam, we were going to call in and say, please, you guys don't know this woman, and she would not ever be without these children to have life. Like Celeste, the baby Cece, needs an EpiPen.
Right.
That baby needs an EpiPen. This isn't right. Something's wrong. I mean, we're trying to make sense. Okay, did she have a stash somewhere? You know, did she grab? But why didn't she grab her wallet? Why'd she leave her ID? And you know what I mean? I just the only thing. And
that's what we're trying to figure out is.
Right.
Did she mention that she had any money anywhere?
No, she didn't mention, like, you know, because the only thing I could think of, okay, if she didn't take any of that, well, did she take a passport and cash? I mean, we're trying to think of plausible things, you know, that would. But if she just like left the house, you know, on foot out the back, because obviously there's nothing up front that was, you know, shows that she left. So if she left out the back, but then the children are going to get hungry. She's going to knock on somebody's door. I'm sorry to bother you. Or she ends up in a hospital, you know, somewhere because she starts to be too distraught. Something, you know, like.
Strong woman, like she was.
Very, very strong, but like she's so very family oriented, very, very organized, very just like very meticulous. There's people that are anal that are annoying, and she's not. You know, she's very like everything is in place. Like I was telling the girls, if I ever went missing, you guys wouldn't be able to figure anything out. But SHANANN, she's everything. If any one piece is out of order, you would know it.
So Sam had told me. Were you the one that lived with her, or was that Christina?
Christina.
Okay.
Christina Meacham was with her.
Okay.
So that's going to be a person that lived in the environment.
Okay.
That you're going to.
So that's who I'm going to call next.
It's hard to. What's that?
So that's who I'm going to call next.
Okay. Yeah. Yeah. She's the one that lived in the environment, and you know, for a little. I don't know how long she lived there, but I know that she did.
Okay.
And that was one question we asked her: is that could she leave out the back? And she's like, not really. That wouldn't make any sense to leave out the back. There's homes behind it. It's not like there's an alley or, you know, something like that. That wouldn't make sense. But I'm not there either. You guys saw the property. I didn't. So
yeah. So if you can think of anything else that would give us some insight, just don't hesitate to call us. Okay.
Okay. Very good. Thank you very much for all your help.
Yep. Have a good night.
Okay. Take care. You too. Bye.
Bye.
Hello.
Hi, Sam.
Hi.
Hi, it's Officer James Frederick, PD.
How are you?
Good, how are you?
I'm doing well, thank you.
So, I left you a message last night. I just need to get your name and date of birth and address, right?
That morning after the press conference, and they said, oh, we'll be releasing it. Yeah, as soon as that happened, it was like the Today Show, NBC, ABC, Good Morning America, and then reporters on the messages in my Facebook, and then my kids were getting called. It was like crazy. I had to like hold a family meeting because I have 5 kids, you know, so I'm like, you guys, I had to take my son's cell phone. I was freaking out, and I'm like, I think at that point it was like people wanted to know, so how's your mom doing with all this? And, you know, that kind of thing. And with the day before, you know, the week before school was starting, it was just freaking me out, to be honest.
Right. Yeah, I don't know what the DA's office will do, but I think it's important because if they have to serve a subpoena or something,
Sure.
they need to be able to send it to you and get in contact with you.
Okay. Yeah, this is my cell phone.
Do you have a house number or anything? I appreciate you giving me that. I just need to get it officially documented in the report.
Okay.
All right?
Sounds good.
All right, thank you. Bye.
Bye-bye.
That's today's video. I hope you all enjoyed that. I'm still working on a few Chris Watts ones. I've got a Richard Allen one to do. A couple of other people that I've been working on as well, researching. As usual, leave me your lovely comments. A lot of you do get involved in the comments and have a discussion there. I am going to be planning some live streams very, very soon. Because I've done a few Chris Watts videos, there is a few viewers of mine that are from Colorado, so I'd just like to say that my heart goes out to you people in Colorado. I can't say too much because of YouTube, but I hope you're all okay, especially the 16 people involved, okay? I've lost my list of people I wanted to shout out, but off the top of my head, Carolyn Atkins, Timmy59, Paige, Kez, Kate is great, Minion Sweet, big shout out, USA, Ireland, Denmark, Sweden, UK this time. These cases are hard to listen to, that's my dog. If you can hear the tippy tap taps, I appreciate every one of you viewing, but most of all, don't have nightmares. Hello, welcome back. My name is Paddy. Good afternoon. Lots of members posts up this week, lots of normal posts up, lots of members stuff up this week, lots of members content up this week. The officer phones Chris on an update and to see how he's doing and whether he knows. The police phone Chris, astonishingly 92%. It was 94, it's now 92. 92% aren't subscribed that watch my videos, which is, I can't get my head around that. So please subscribe. As usual, put where you're from in the comments. That's my dog tippy tap tapping. As usual, put where you're from in the comments. I've lost my list to give everyone a shout out. My dog's wrecking the place. Thank you very much. Vinny, come here. Come here. Up. Up. Come on. Come here. Come here. Up. Come on. Up. Say hello. Hello. And you. Up.